A local business will be manufacturing and installing new signs at the Lloydminster Airport. The on-site sign group of Lloydminster was awarded the over $218,000 contract to make and install 5 exterior signs, including entrance, terminal, and wayfinding signage. The city is only going ahead with this project because it received a federal grant.
And that's not taxpayers' money directly through the city collected. That'll come from the federal government in the form of a grant, which we'll administer. And it was great to see. There was 8 tenders received, but 2 qualified, one being a local tender.
The new signage will feature the airport's new brand and logo. Mayor Gerald Albers hopes the new look at the airport will help draw more traffic and users.
People sometimes forget about our airport. We do have not quite daily service, but quite regular air service today with WestJet. And as we see things move forward from the pandemic, we expect that we'll see that daily service return. Increased activity in the oil and gas industry helps feed that, as well as just the city in general.
The new signage will be installed by March of this year. For farmers and lovers of livestock, Lloydminster is set to host its first annual Cattlemen's Call this weekend. With a preview of the event, here's Tate Laycraft.
Today, I'm sitting down with Shelley Ann Dodgson from the Lloydminster Agriculture Exhibition because she's gearing up for a big weekend ahead at the Lloyd X. So to you, Shelley, I'll say welcome to the show. But without further ado, how is this year's Cattlemen's Call shaping up?
Well, with it being our first annual or first show, it's quite exciting because we've actually switched around some of our Saskatchewan building to host the entire show in the Saskatchewan building. So we are going to have our show ring and our trade show booths that we have, our industry partners that are coming, any of our equipment displays, as well as all the livestock are all going to be housed in the Saskatchewan building. So we're quite excited. There's a few different things that we've got coming up. We have the Bull Session or BS Social on the Friday night, which is sponsored by Tingley's Harvest Center. So we're really excited about that one. So, and we have a new bar, so you have to come out and check out that. So yeah, we've got a lot of new things happening. Graydon Kay and Sydney Lake and the rest of the committee have done an awesome job on getting us organized and going with the program.
And I see that the weekend is set to kick off tomorrow, Friday at 1 p.m. with your Winter Classic Heifer Jackpot. So would you mind just going over that event as well as everything else that you have planned for Friday?
Yeah, so we're kicking off at 1 o'clock, like you said, with our Winter Classic Heifer Jackpot. And then we're following that with our Rising Stars Yearling Bull Show. We have several breeds coming. So we have your traditional Herefords and Angus and Simmental. And we have some Speckled Parks coming, as well as some Maine and Juice. So yeah, we are really excited to have, I believe we have well over 25 entries in that. So that's going to be a really cool show for that one. And then we're following that by our Bull Session, which is our big social. So welcoming all the cattlemen, commercial purebred cattlemen, to come out and visit with our exhibitors, visit with our industry partners, and just have a great time. On Saturday, we open the barns at 9 o'clock and we get right into showing with our group classes. So we're going to have our 5-star parables. That's going to have some yearlings in it, a group pen, like the bull pen, so 3 pens. And then we're moving on into our senior bulls and 2-year-olds. So yeah, that's our plans for Saturday. And then everybody can wrap up and head home before dark, hopefully, and have a great Sunday afternoon.
And lastly, just before we close, for anyone who's looking to scout out the event, where's the best place for them to go online?
They can go to lloydex.com and they just click on the Cattlemen's Call and they can find out a host of information there, or they can give us a shout here at the office. Our number here is 306-825-5571 and ask for Shelley Ann, and I can let you know as much information as possible. And also it's a free admission, so everyone and anyone is invited to come. We are under the Saskatchewan Health Authority's vaccination policies, so we ask that you're double vaccinated or have had a negative test in the last 72 hours. And otherwise, yeah, come out and see come have some hospitality, some marketing and networking with a lot of our local Midwest, breeders in the area.
Thanks so much, Shelley, and I hope the weekend is a big success.
You betcha. It was great.
And now it's time for us to take our first look at weather. Here's Shelby Clark.
Thanks so much, Jace. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast for here in the border city, we're sitting at -2. We did still see a warmer day today, but it did cool down quite a bit throughout the day. We saw a little bit more cloud coverage there and even saw some freezing rain starting off in the morning there. So hopefully everybody was able to drive safe out there and be careful out there on those roads. But with the wind chill, it does feel close to -5. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, we're seeing some slightly cooler temperatures compared to what we've been seeing. A lot are at that 0 point right now. +1 in Edmonton, while it is -1 in Vermilion, Marwayne and St. Paul, -4 in Bonnyville and Lac La Biche, while Cold Lake is the coolest at -7 degrees. Now switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're seeing some slightly cooler temperatures compared to what the Alberta side is seeing across the region. -10 up in Isle Cross, -5 in most spots on the map here, -3 in Pearceland, St. Walburg, and Maidstone is at that -2 mark, while Macklin is just hitting -1. And for North Battleford overnight, they will be going down to a low of -8 degrees. They will be seeing a high chance of some flurries starting off in the evening throughout the night as well. And tomorrow they will be seeing a little bit more cloud coverage, but they will be seeing -6 throughout the day. For Cold Lake overnight, they'll be going down to a low of -10 degrees, and they will be seeing some more cloud coverage as well there. They won't be seeing a high chance of some flurries, although. And then tomorrow, they will be seeing -3, so they will be seeing a nicer temperature throughout the day, but they will be seeing a little bit more cloud coverages at the same time as well before they start off the weekend. And for here in the border city, we'll be going down to a low of -7 degrees. We will be seeing a high chance of some snowfall there throughout the night, so expect to see some more snow tomorrow to start off the weekend, get the shovels up once again. And tomorrow, we will be seeing -2 throughout the day, so we will still be seeing a warm temperature throughout the day with some less sun though. And now switching over to some photo submissions. Thank you to everyone that submitted to our Facebook page. This lovely photo is from Hazel. Hazel's another person that likes to submit some good weather photos throughout the week. So thank you to Hazel once again for this beautiful photo here. I love seeing that sunset shot and just seeing that halo there and seeing the trees. It's just a great photo. So thank you to everyone that submitted online. And that's all I got for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Now we'll send it over to the world of sports. Evan Kenny caught up with Lakeland College as they get set to return to action this weekend.
Last weekend was the original start date for the ACAC to return following the Christmas break. However, due to COVID-19 worries, most of those games have been pushed now to this weekend. Joining me now to discuss the return to play is Lakeland College Athletic Director Al Rogan. Al, thank you for taking this time. Just starting things off now, the ACAC has said some institutions may put measures into place regarding spectators in the building. Now, is Lakeland College planning on putting in any measures or anything along those lines?
Currently, right now, the ACAC executive is, they had a meeting yesterday and they had a conversation. So we're going to hear probably later today on what the ACAC directive is. I'm not 100% where they're going to go, but there could be a good chance they might say for the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're just not going to have spectators until the trend starts going down as far as transmission goes. We definitely love to have spectators in our facility. It just adds that environment. But our number one priority is making sure that our student athletes are safe and that we're hopefully going to be able to get through the entire second semester here of competition. That's our priority. Even though, like I said, our spectators are important to who we are and what we do. But we do webcast games, so there is an alternate option, I guess, if they want to watch our teams play. It just may not be in person.
Al, the ACAC also said, regardless of where we are with the pandemic, the Make Some Noise for Mental Health initiative will happen. That'll take place from January 17th until February 13th. Now, what's the plan for Lakeland College over this month?
Yeah, so every institution is probably doing things a little bit different. There's not sort of a cookie cutter way that we're going to be presenting the program as a conference goes. right now, especially with COVID and having a really cold Christmas time, there's a lot of anxiety amongst a lot of students, a lot of programs. So, each institution is sort of putting together their own spin on what their Make Some Noise night's going to be. Ours is planned for the end of January. Hopefully, we can have spectators in our facility at that time and be able to put it on. But it's the biggest piece about it is just raising awareness around mental health and how it impacts everybody. And it's nothing to be ashamed of if you're struggling emotionally, because there's probably the person on your left, the person on your right is as well. So it's really important, I think, that we raise awareness, and we haven't quite got it all figured out here at Lakeland what we're going to do. Because ours is going to be a little bit different than other institutions in the ACAC, but we definitely have a plan in place. We are looking at doing our night at the end of January. I just can't remember the day off the top of my head here. So.
And finally, Al, to jump into a little more of the sports side of things, there's plenty of action in the new year here for Lakeland College. Each of the volleyball teams and the basketball teams will all play 5 home games as well. Men's and women's futsal will get going here later on in February. And then finally, all of the winter tournament sports are also going to begin. I'll just touch on some of the action that'll happen in 2022.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're correct when you say we've got a pile of home games this second semester, so that'll be great, especially if we can get spectators in our facility. Our student athletes are they're really excited about competing the second semester and just, with their volleyball and basketball teams, continuing on with some of the successes they had in the first semester. Our curling team is starting up here this weekend. They head off into Edmonton to compete in their first regional tournament. Futsal teams, they started training. I think they might have some exhibition competitions coming up here this weekend or next weekend. We actually are going to be hosting the ACAC Futsal Championships in March. So we were awarded that in December. So we're excited to host a championship here again. It's one of those things that we believe we do well here. So, we're excited. Like all of our teams this year have a great chance of making the playoffs, and we're going to be hosting some championship games if our teams continue on the trend they were before Christmas. So a lot of excitement. Our student athletes and our coaches are raring to go. They just want to get back on the court and compete again. And I'm excited for all of our programs here. I think it'll be a great second semester, and we just need to make sure we do things right, and so that we can continue on through the entire semester. It's short, it's quick, but it's going to be exciting.
Al, thank you so much for taking this time and joining me. As you previously mentioned, the curling teams will get at it this weekend as well. Women's basketball will play the King's University here in Lloydminster on Saturday.
And now it's time to take another look at your weather forecast with more. Here's Shelby Clark.
Thanks so much, JC. Now taking another look at your weather forecast, we'll be starting off with the central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, most are seeing that one degree point right now, while Edson and Rocky Mountain are at +2, and Jasper is the warmest at 3. Switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're definitely seeing some slightly cooler temperatures compared to what the Alberta side is seeing. Prince Albert and Melfort are even reaching past that -10 point right now. Saskatoon, Meadow Lake, and North Battleford are all at -5, while Cold Lake is slightly cooler at -6 degrees. And as we switch over to our northern region of the provinces, they are seeing a lot cooler temperatures as well here. Most are even seeing past that -20 point. It is -18 up in Uranium City, while La Ronge is at -15, and the rest are seeing -11. Switching over to this side here now, they're seeing some slightly warmer temperatures compared. Slave Lake is just hitting that +1 degree point. Grand Prairie is at -3, while Peace River and Fort McMurray at -8, -9, and the rest are slightly cooler at -14, -15 degrees. And as we go over to our southern region of the provinces, as you can see, they're not struggling too much. They are still in that plus range here. Lethbridge is at 5 degrees, while Medicine Hat and Banff are at 3 degrees. Calgary is hitting that 1 point, while Coronation is just at that 0 mark. Now switching over to this side here, they're seeing some slightly cooler temperatures, but still seeing those single-digit point for those minuses. -3 in Estevan, Moose Jaw, and Kindersley, while Regina is at -4. Yorkton is slightly cooler at -8 degrees, and Swift Current is still in that plus range at +2. But as we go back across the region, the temperatures overnight tonight, we are going to be seeing some nice evening lows for throughout the night across the region. Provost will be seeing a low of -5, but seeing a higher chance of some flurries throughout the night. Wainwright, Murnum, and Bonnyville will be seeing a low of -6 and -9 degrees. Unity will be seeing a high chance of some flurries as well, but they will be seeing -8 throughout the night. The rest will be seeing those double-digit points, with Paradise Hill seeing -10, -11 and 12 for Pierceland and Meadow Lake, and Isla Cross will be close to seeing that -20 point for their low. And Meadow Lake will also be seeing a high chance of some flurries. Now looking at temperatures across the region tomorrow, we will be still seeing a slightly warmer Friday compared to what we've been seeing throughout these January months here. On the Saskatchewan side, they're looking slightly cooler, with Isla Cross and Green Lake seeing -7 compared to what we are seeing on the Alberta side for tomorrow, ranging from around -1 to -4. And now looking at our 7-day forecast for here in the border city, we'll be seeing a lot more cloud coverage tomorrow, but we will be seeing -2, so still a nice temperature if you want to get out there and still enjoy these nice temperatures. Don't have to plug in your vehicles, give your cords a break for now. Saturday, we'll see a nice Saturday for at +4 throughout the day with a mix of some sun and cloud. We'll end off slightly cooler at -1 on Sunday, and then next week we will cool down once again, even though Monday we'll be starting off hitting that 0 point, so we will be starting off next week warmer. Tuesday we'll see a little bit more sun, but we will be seeing -15, so we will cool down slightly, while Wednesday and Thursday we'll see slightly more cloud coverage with -19 on Wednesday and -11 next Thursday. That is another look at your weather forecast. We'll have more coming up after the break.
I'm joined here now with author V.S. Holmes. Now, your book Heretics released last May, and it received a 5-star review from Publishers Weekly. But before we get into that, could you just give some background into the book and the series?
So the series is the Star's Edge Nell Bentley series, and it follows a foul-mouthed archaeologist, Dr. Nell Bentley, when her site is taken over and sort of the center of this intergalactic feud, and she's thrown into this high-tech world, higher stakes world, and with really only a very cute girl to guide her. And normally that's not really her bag, but because it's attached to a cute face, she's all in. And Heretics is the 4th book, and it follows Nell as she returns to Earth after a brief, or not so brief as she starts to realize, journey elsewhere. And she realizes that the space that she left, she no longer fits in. And she sort of is dealing with those complicated emotions, and then also the very complicated world that she is thrown into, and her desire to hopefully protect her own.
That sounds really interesting. And speaking of the 5-star review you got from Publishers Weekly, just what did it mean to you to see your book receive this high praise and that review?
I was floored. I mean, it's always nice to have nice reviews, regardless of the source. But especially as an indie author and as a marginalized author, seeing my work be reviewed in such a huge, huge named magazine was just incredible. And also, specifically Heretics, because I wrote this book in a very dark time in my life. I mean, during the pandemic, of course, everyone is sort of going through stuff, but also in the wake of grief of my father's passing. And just to see my imperfect character and this book that was sort of ripped from my chest, it felt like at some points, receive such high praise and from such an incredible source was, I can't even describe it. It was really, really wonderful.
And as this book released last May, just what has been the response from fans of the series?
A lot of them really, really liked it and are really frustrated with me as I continue to do my cliffhanger endings. But I think they were really excited to see a bit more of Nell's internal struggles and internal world. The previous books, I sort of balanced it, but I did focus a lot more on her navigating the high tech that she, isn't used to. And so seeing her come back to this sort of familiar world and then dealing with her emotions and a lot of stuff that she'd sort of put off processing in the previous books, I think was really fun for a lot of them. And, because we have all been dealing with this pandemic and all of the other issues that have risen in the past few years, I think a lot of people could kind of empathize with her struggles and a lot of her anger.
Yes, and speaking of that, do you think it's a good idea to showcase that, these characters aren't perfect? They go through the same things that we go through and that they really can relate to us?
I think so. That's as a reader myself. I always appreciate seeing characters struggling with maybe the same things that I'm struggling with, or different things, but feeling similar things that I am. That's one of the great things about reading is you can see the similarities between maybe a character that you didn't think was anything like yourself, um, and then also find ways. A lot of my my own coping mechanisms I've learned through characters experiencing similar struggles, and that's really wonderful, especially when we are so polarized and so isolated.
And now that we're into 2022, just what are some of your plans for the New Year's and anything coming out for later on in the year?
So I am working on book five. Of course, a lot of release dates have been postponed, and that's one of them. But I am working on book five and the final book, book six, which is very exciting for me. A little bittersweet. But so far, Fugitives, which is the fifth book, which should be out this year, has been my favorite to write, which it feels like picking a favorite kid, right? You're not supposed to say that in public, at least. But so far, it's been my favorite, partially because Nell is really starting to change and come into her own. And there's a few side characters. I'm a sucker for my side characters. So there's a few side characters I'm excited to explore in it. And I'm really excited to hear which, of those side characters my readers kind of latch onto themselves. So I'm definitely looking forward to sharing that. And I'm also looking forward to stepping into maybe some new series and some new worlds once I put this one to bed, so to speak.
Well, if anyone is looking to get Heretics or just keep an eye out for upcoming books in the series or your other works, where should they go?
Yeah, I'm all across social media if you want to keep up to date with my inner workings. But I also have my website, which is vsholmes.com. And you can actually go there and check out Disciples, it takes place simultaneously with the first book in the Nell Bentley series. And you can just check that out for free, see if you like my work, if my style is to your taste. So definitely go check that out. And like I said, social media. I also have a newsletter. You can keep up to date with the newest stuff when I remember to send it out.
Thank you so much for your time today, VS.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Anna Pack, a former Canadian speed skater and who is now a pop singer. And we're talking about a new release, a new single called Blast Off Light Years and Beyond. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
No, thank you. I'm so glad you're able to take time out of your day to be able to speak with us. Now, this is sort of an anthem on TikTok now that I was reading about. What's the song all about? Can you give us a little bit more details on it?
Absolutely. So my now fiance and I actually met through TikTok, and so I had to give a little bit of a shout out to TikTok in the song. And one of the lines in the song is actually "Light Years and Beyond," and so that came about because we came to a point where saying "I love you" just wasn't strong enough anymore. And so we are like, we have to find a word that kind of describes how we feel. And so I love Disney and she loves sci-fi. And so we kind of put Buzz Lightyear's to infinity and beyond, and the whole, something is light years away. And so we put them together and we came up with Light Years and Beyond. So instead of saying "I love you," we say "Light Years and Beyond" to each other. And then that little sentence is what kind of gave off the idea to create the song Blast Off, which is kind of our love story, basically.
And what's it like for you now that you've just released the single to see how kind of viral on TikTok it's been and how much strong support you've been getting?
It's been fantastic. What I love about the song is like I said, it's my personal love story, but because, people are listening to it and they can relate to it. So if you make something that is real, then other people feeling things are also going to feel that real thing. So they can turn it into their love story. And it doesn't matter whether it's a love story with a partner, it could be, friends or family or anything. And so I just like that a song could be something, but in the ears or in the mind of someone else, it could also mean like this whole different thing, which is what is kind of happening with this song, which I think is just fantastic.
How has the experience been from transitioning from speed skating to singing?
You know what? It's kind of similar because the same way that I, wake up in the morning and I would have to go to the rink and train, and then I'd have like specific times where then I would go to the gym and then work on this and work on that. I'm doing the same thing with my voice and with how I want to perform things. And so I'll wake up in the morning and I'll get on that treadmill and I'll, run, but I'll also sing as I'm running because I also want to get the two working together. And so it's kind of like the same discipline that I had for one, I can now apply to a different goal that I have. So I find that they kind of go together hand in hand, really, both experiences.
And you were saying earlier from seeing people being able to relate to this song and just seeing that strong support. Is there some future works in the making right now that you can tell us about?
Absolutely. We've got one song that we're hoping to have it come out late February, maybe early March. So we're working on that, but we're also working on finishing up the EP. We want to put out an album, so we're also going to throw in a couple of more songs for sure. And we also want to create a music video for Blast Off. So that one's coming. Yeah.
Is there a message you want to put out there right now for any fans that may be watching this that you want to say after the journey you've just been through from releasing this new single?
Sure. It's on all streaming platforms. You can find Blast Off on all streaming platforms. Soon the video is gonna be, we're gonna make it, and soon it's gonna be out. And I just want to, like, all this love that has come, that people love the song and then support me. So I just want to say thank you. Like, it's been crazy. So I definitely want to say thank you, and I'm grateful for everyone who has reached out, but also who listens to it and then makes their own out of the song. I think that's fantastic.
Perfect. Well, it was really great speaking with you today, Anna.
Thanks for having me.
That's all the time we have for Primetime Local News. Thank you so much for joining us, and our second hour continues next.